Hello kiddies, I'm Chris from TechSpert and today we're reviewing the very funky JBL Tour Pro 2. A pair of premium True Wireless Earbuds that will cost you £250 here in the UK, but for that cash you do get a funky display built into the actual bud case. Genuine game changer or gimmicky bollocks? Well, I've been testing out the JBL Tour Pro 2 for the past week, so here's my full in-depth review, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! Let's start with the actual buds themselves. When you pluck them out of the case, you will notice that they maybe don't look quite as premium as you might have expected for 250 quid. They do look and feel a little bit plasticky, to be perfectly honest, but they're not terrible, they're not ugly. And most importantly, they are actually comfortable to wear for several hours at a time. They're nice and light and dinky. You get several sizes of rubbery ear tip to suit your own particular lugs. And they're reasonably discreet as well. They don't stick right out, they don't dangle down loads. And they also won't come flying out of your head if you do decide you need to suddenly leg it for the number 12 bus or whatever. And just to prove the point, mosh test! And like many buds, the JBL Tour Pro 2s are IPX5 splash resistant, so no worries if you live here in Blighty, you find yourself constantly, unexpectedly caught in a sudden downpour. You might be a sodden mess, but at least your earbuds will still work, so you can continue to listen to angry podcasts about how crap everything is. Now the JBL Tour Pro 2 supports Bluetooth 5.3 connectivity, you've got Google Fast Pair support, so connecting to your smartphone literally takes a matter of seconds. And when you are connected, you will want to download the JBL Headphones app. And I've got to say, I'm always impressed by the JBL app because it's absolutely packed to the pits with all kinds of great features and customization options. All the obvious stuff is present and correct. The ability to turn on the noise cancellation, you've got your equalizer, play around with the gestures, tweak the Google Assistant settings. You can even make sure you've got the right size of rubbery tips so your buds fit as well as possible. You've got Find My Buds feature. And then of course you've got the smart case settings. So the obvious USP of the Tour Pro 2, the reason everyone is probably watching this video, is that weenie display slapped on the side of the earbuds case. This acts as a sort of remote control for the buds themselves, dishing up all kinds of different settings and features. So for instance, you can change the volume, swap up the ANC mode, got an equalizer you can play around with. You've even got bonus widgets chucked in here like a timer feature, got the Find My Buds again, even a flashlight, which just about spaffs out enough light so you don't stub your toe on the corner of the bed when you stumble into the bogs in the middle of the night. And in my first few days of using the JBL Tour Pro 2, I got to admit I thought that this dinky wee screen was cool as balls. But in the back of my mind I was thinking as well like, this is just a massive gimmick, isn't it? What's really the point? Because the fact of the matter is, pretty much all of the functionality in here can be simply performed using the JBL app. And in fact, the app will be a much quicker way of accessing many of these features because you do have to do an awful lot of swiping to often find the one that you want. And yeah, that is an annoyance that is helped by the fact you can change up which shortcuts actually appear within that window. So that definitely makes swiping around a lot quicker and easier, but all the same, does it make life much easier? Not really, again, when you consider that a lot of the functionality on that can be performed using the touch controls, like skipping a track, turning on the ANC, turning it off again. And of course, the more you're actually using that dinky display, the more you're draining the case battery, so you'll be able to get less recharges for your buds. I do enjoy how you can slap your own wallpaper on there to customize it though. Fair play JBL, that's pretty slick. Now I mentioned the touch controls just a moment ago, and these are customizable again via that JBL app. Each bud responds to a single, double or triple tap as well as a tap and hold, and you don't have full control over what each tap and poke does. But what you can do is choose between 3 different options for each bud. Either they'll be in control of the ambient sound /ANC, be able to tweak the volume, otherwise you've got playback and a voice assistant control. So this is the ambient sound settings. As you can see, they cycle between different modes, which you can choose. The playback and voice assistant control does exactly what you'd expect. You've got a single tap for play and pause, double tap for next track, triple tap for previous track, and then tap and hold for the old Google Assistant. You can actually choose which assistant you use. And the final option here is the volume control. And I've got to say, I've had bugger all issues with the touch controls. Every time you successfully tap, you get a bit of noise feedback, so you know that your poke has registered. Triple taps and everything are nice and simple, so yeah, does the job. As for the actual audio output here, well, you've got 10mm drivers covering a range from 10 Hz to 10 kHz. And you've got plenty of audio options you can choose from in here. You've got Personify, which can actually adapt the audio to match your own particular hearing. My own knackered old lugs really struggle to pick out tones at the higher end of the range, for instance, so I found that this just helped to boost those highs a little bit so I could actually get the full range. And you've also got yourself an equalizer, of course, with various presets that you can play around with, or you can just have a manual fiddle as well if you like. I've got to say, however, while I found that the audio output on the JBL Tour Pro earbuds was perfectly respectable, it wasn't anything unique. And certainly no better than what you would find on True Wireless earbuds that cost about 100 quid less, for instance the Nothing Air 2, which I just recently reviewed. Which also happens to come with a sound personalization profile and all the usual presets and equalizer jazz. So I would say if you're a true audiophile looking to spend this amount of money on a pair of True Wireless earbuds, you'll be better served by a pair of Sony's or Bose's. And like the Nothing Air 2 buds, you've also got support for spatial sound, which is great news if, for instance, you've got an Audible subscription. You can enjoy a good bit of spatial surround on supported titles. And as you would certainly expect at this price point, you've got the ambient sound control as well, good bit of active noise cancellation. And the noise cancellation is pretty good on the JBL Tour Pro 2s, can't really complain, although once again not quite as good as the absolutely best premium buds out there like the Sony's. But it certainly can muffle the sounds of traffic, trains, general outdoor kerfuffle, so you can enjoy a podcast in peace without having to ramp that volume all the way up. And you've also got the usual pass-through mode shenanigans as well, so with just a tap of one of your buds or the old dinky display, of course, you can switch this on and then you're suddenly aware of everything going on around you. Good news if you're about to cross a road so you don't get hit by a bus or you've got someone yammering on at you. And the JBL Tour Pro 2 wireless earbuds also have 6 mics in total built into them in order to clearly pick up your voice when you are on a call. Of course, I'm just chilling in my studio at the moment, nice and quiet and peaceful, but what happens if there's lots of background noise? Well, here's test 2. I am stood right next to a speaker that is absolutely blasting out super loud traffic noises, honking horns, angry people shouting at each other and screaming. A really apocalyptic scene, typical of 2023. And as you can hear, the Tour Pro 2 is still clearly picking up on my voice despite all of that ruckus. And all gimmicks aside and everything, the one area where the JBL Tour Pro 2s really did impress me was their battery life. You see, these wireless earbuds can keep going for around 10 hours on a single charge before you have to shove them back in the case. Around sort of 8 hours if you are constantly using that ANC. And that's easily one of the best performances I've had from any pair of True Wireless earbuds in recent times. It's basically double what you get from the Nothing Air 2. So that's super good news for anyone who does a lot of traveling, for instance. Then when they are done or just you're done listening, just bung them back into the case and they will charge up reasonably quickly and you'll get around 3 to 4 full charges from the case depending on, again, how often you're fiddling around with that awesome little display. So that in a nutshell, kiddies, is the JBL Tour Pro 2 True Wireless earbuds. And yeah, that dinky display is very, very cool indeed, but it is quite gimmicky. It's nothing you couldn't get from just using the phone app or just by tapping the buds. If you are looking to spend this amount of money on a pair of buds, I would say definitely Sony's or Bose's or something right up there at the top end. You'll get slightly better audio quality and you will get better noise cancellation as well. Although I gotta say the ANC is pretty good on this, the audio performance is decent as well, and the battery life is fantastic. Plus the actual phone app support as well, top-notch stuff. So that's what I reckon of the JBL Tour Pro 2s. What do you guys reckon? Are you tempted? Do you still love the ruddy heck out of that dinky little bud screen? Be great to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest tech. And have yourselves a ruddy wonderful rest of the week. Cheers everyone, love you!